Radberg and me, we had an agreement, a mutual pact to go and make the most of London in 12 hours. We ended up in Soho having a look around tonight while I confirmed that little had changed in the big city. I never felt alone in London. Being a Londoner for a time of my life was in hell, still is a pleasing sensation. It is certainly a place where I belong, no matter how far I am. I knew better places where to spend the night, but Radberg was keen on seeing the mainstream London, it seemed. I did the tour guide for him, but we never got too far from the Thames South Bank. He basically dragged me in a bad way. I could have gone out up to Dalston or somewhere around Royal Oak Station or anywhere better than Soho. The worst bars are in Soho. Radberg was for the first time in London, and I could notice by his way of acting. It can be a bit shocking for Americans because London is a whole different world, even if you come from a big city as New York or Seattle or even from anywhere in Britain. In Radberg's case, he didn't even grow up in a big city. I felt the excitement in me going underground again. I felt how youth tasted again. It kinda reminded me of those late night rides on Friday night from N to Waterloo, where somehow, everything starts and ends. I felt the waiting for the weekend, the joy of the days off. The emotion of getting on one of those red buses and going anywhere it would take you to, somewhere you'd never been before and probably would never be around again unless you had a good sense of direction. I had flashbacks of crowded quaysides and stations at rush hour. The beauty of the reddened skies and the silhouettes cast over buildings somewhere round Vauxhall. Seeing places again made me remember things I had totally forgotten. For some reason your mind saves images from somewhere in the most unexplored corner of it. This picture of crowded platforms at peak time came so clear to me. I remembered the people being ecstatic for coming back home after work in a darkened sky, engaging in silly conversations. I kinda relived that sensation today again. Where was that memory from? I can't even remember. I'll dare to say it was somewhere past Baker Street or towards that direction. Heading southwest, perhaps towards Kensington. It was a big station, I am sure, maybe one of those numberless junctions where people take infinite directions. Maybe Earl's Court? I am sure it was somewhere down there. One station more of an infinite trip, I guess, a beautiful trip that goes on almost until the infinite. Another neighborhood, different people, a different world. How can people get tired of London? It always appeared to me that in the infiniteness of London one has everything he needs. It seems a world apart, the center of anything important that goes on. I wanted to be part of that, I wanted to be there, perhaps till infinity too. Today, it came clear to me again. I miss how I could made the most of a Saturday, in a cunning combination of tube and red bus. Ah, big endless Saturdays. Leaving home early, flashbacks of places, north, south, east and west, lost, totally lost. Battersea Park, Tooting, Canning Town, Highgate, the Premier League preliminaries from Watford to Selhurst Park. The Christmas lights at Brompton Road or the sunset from Canary Wharf with the city extending ahead to where your sight cannot even get. It certainly made an ordinary day extraordinary. I can't even start to remember some things, but it was fun, loads of fun. I am sure. A cheap pizza made somewhere in the south for the intermission. I've just retained some memories up till today. Can you bump to someone you know in the middle of that maze of neighborhoods? Apparently you can, because I did once. I found my flatmate at about 10 kilometers from home. Can you find your better half anywhere around here? I am sure you can. Because anything can happen in London. Even the most surrealistic things. I went places, met different people, the weirdest and most extraordinary people. You can encounter them in the less expected place. I lived pieces of the most absurd and extraordinary stories. I found people from countries you didn't even know they existed. Sometimes I felt a privileged spectator at the Globe, many years later. In an epic show. I don't know. Nothing in America can be compared to it, even big cities. I always used to say, when you get tired of London, you get tired of everything. And it's damn true. Lives, souls that come and go entwined with yours. I remember how I had fun watching people anywhere and guessing about their lives. This evening as Radberg and me came back to our hotel in Euston, I thought on how London is without doubt a city of connections. Beginning from its underground system, a piece of art created by a genius. So watching Radberg looking around people tonight, I had the sensation that I wasn't going to discover anything new about London. Perhaps I was to know more about Radberg tonight than about London.